Hello, I'm Wendy. A quick introduction. If you're new to the channel, I am a broadcaster. I blog, I channel, and I talk to nightlights. This is just a short segment. I wanted to touch base and give you a little bit of a background on some of the shows that you might have listened to or you will listen to. I did a show on KCMO Talk Radio. The elements in there are considered copyrighted, the music, especially the end song, which was by The Doors, Break On Through to the Other Side. Excellent song. Okay, those needed to be removed. So that material, when it originally transferred to YouTube, was flagged so I could change it. And I've been going through and changing those shows and adding them to the music library that you're listening to. So that and the other show was Conscious Living on Empower Radio. That show ran 10 years, usually one or two shows a week. So a lot of content there. I was able to save some of them. I have more interviews booked and continuing with the theme of paranormal, OBE, NDE, anything unusual, weird, eclectic, anomalous, a mystery. That's my life. I've had night lights that are interactive for 26 years, going on 27. They've changed a little bit. Originally, it was like 24/7 nonstop blink flicker. It was a constant presence in my life. Now, it would go off at night saying that, the entity, the energy that activates the light said, "We are not a nightlight." So there it is. I have a nightlight that does not stay on at night because it's being operated by a foreign element. That was entertaining, and it is entertaining. Now, because it's been so long and the bulb that it has been using is technically not supposed to last this long, it is conserving the light, the bulb, by staying off. And sometimes it will be off for several weeks at a time or a month. And for me, that's always been a fear factor of, is it done? Has it burned out? I have burned out a few of those lights, but not this one. One show I edited to remove the copyright content and featured is Bruce Gernon and his story about the electronic fog, flying through the Bermuda Triangle and experiencing this fog that stayed with the plane as he was flying. And that's what most people don't connect the dots on. That element also factors into missing person stories, alien abduction stories, and ghost stories, and time travel. My experience, I experienced a form of time shifting. I forgot somebody's phone number. I was at the radio station and I needed to go home, and I had a really short window to do it. And I wanted like an extra minute or two so I could catch my breath. Okay. Well, all right. I thought, let me try this. I had read somewhere where someone said if you just imagine a bubble and keep that time in your bubble, the time you want it. This is a very rudimentary explanation of this. So I had my bubble and I thought, okay, if I get it, I'll do 5 minutes. Now, the trip should take me about 8 to 10 minutes, depending on the stoplight. When I got home, there was fog around the car, like a little light mist condensation around the car. It quickly evaporated, but that was different because, for one thing, there was no fog that day. And it gave me an idea that, okay, something's going on. I got back to the station and I had made my 5 minute window. That's a personal experience. Other people have mentioned going to places where there was a fog around this location and then going back to that location and the same building that was there had vanished. So they had been in a different time, a different state, parallel universe, another dimension. We don't know. These stories have that fog element. And so I wanted to talk with Bruce because he's continued to do his research and he's continued to say that this is a very important thing that we're missing and we need to consider. And it's fascinating. So, anyway, Bruce Gernon, that's another interview that is coming up. And another note on the BICS contest, Bigelow Institute for Consciousness Studies, they've extended, now this is for U.S. and Canada residents only. They've extended the deadline to August 31st. You can get the 5-set collection of their recent study from 2023. The winners are, well, all of them are in this collection. That's another thing that I think is a wonderful opportunity. This contains current thinking and current ideas about the afterlife. I'll put details on how you can get that in the links. If you follow them on X, Twitter, then you'll find the information there as well. Again, BICS Institute for Consciousness Studies. Robert Bigelow is the person who's orchestrating all of this and making this possible. He's funding it. And I got my set. It's beautiful. I will have to take some time to go through it. The other thing that happened after I got the set, the light, a lamp. And I experience this with people who are deceased connecting to they'll either blink the lights, or one guy used to burn out the porch light. Like, and the front porch light would burn out, and his wife would call and ask, she needed to talk with him. I thought, okay, so that was a nice little tag, and fortunately he stopped, but went through a few lights. Anyway, the light beside the bed, the lamp, it just started popping and flickering like my night lights do. And okay, this is new, this is different. So what's the point of this little connection? And we looked to make sure that it wasn't. There's a remote sensor that activates that lamp, and nothing had been touching it. So I just asked, is there something I need to know? And it said, don't forget your focus. Stay focused. I thought, well, okay, stay focused on what? Well, the books had arrived. And so I'm looking at the books, but then I'm also considering doing some other things, like writing for a newspaper or this other stuff. And the thing that it wanted me to remember is that I originally started out with my content with the nightlight and channeling. That was what I started with and where I wanted to go. And it's just saying that there's more here than meets the eye. We are connected in ways we cannot fathom. In a nutshell, redirected me toward my channeling and studying the non human intelligence communication. One of my favorite quotes is from Robert Monroe, and he's the person who did extensive research on out of body exploration. He says, there's no beginning, there is no end, there's only change. I posted that BICS content on the blog. I also posted a link to the current research on the afterlife. This is Dr. Raymond Moody, lifeafterlife.com. And it's listed as the official website of Dr. Raymond Moody and the pioneers who are following in his footsteps. So you can check that out. You can also arrange a private consultation with Dr. Moody. Another thing that keeps me going is the contact I've had with some of the people who I was close to and I heard from after they had died. One person I'd known for a couple of decades. I was in the middle of doing a traffic report in the station, the radio station, in the studio, doing my traffic report on air, when this mist that looks like the TV screen when it used to sign off at night and you would get the closing, the white snow on the screen. It looked like that. It formed for a very short time the outline of a human, like a 3D. There's this snow, and I'm looking at it and I can't do anything because I'm talking. I'm realizing this is happening right in front of me. And that was her. So then later on, I asked, is there something you want me to know? Do you have any advice? And considering what I was doing and what this was about, she said, don't rush. Okay, so there's traffic, don't rush. All right, well, it also meant life is too short, don't rush. It ends soon enough. And that information was incredibly specific and unique to her. She had been depressed most of her life, even suicidal. And at the very end, when she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, she didn't want to leave. She realized there was a whole lot here she was going to miss. Coming up, Haunted World, 101 Ghostly Places and Encounters. The chapter on poltergeists is interesting. We might start with that. Another piece of insight I got from my guides. There are no experts. We're all here in the same boat at the same time, learning. Thanks for listening. Links are in the description for the show.